Hello everyone, Leader Dorset Spur here, back with another video, this time reacting to the loss at Arsenal. Oh, fucking hell, how annoying is it to have to say that yet again? Another disappointing result, another loss, especially to those lot down the road, which you really hate. But did we really think it was going to be any different from that? To be honest with you, we've got such a terrible record there, and I've got to be honest with you. I just feel like we must be the unluckiest team in the world. Like nothing seems to go our way. Nothing seems to go our way, and I'm sure there'll be loads of people that can kind of pull out like instances where it has gone our way. Thinking back to the Liverpool game last season where where a goal should have been allowed when it wasn't. But anyway, listen, just massively frustrated. We are in a really difficult situation. Our league position is dropping like a stone, with other teams starting to pick up results. And that kind of puts even more pressure on the manager who has, you know, he's got questions to answer, right? For sure. You can't not, you know, you can't not pick out some things that have really impacted him, impacted us through him. The constant playing of the same players and pushing them to the limit that kind of creates a lot of these injury issues and stuff like that. Or is that just shit out luck? It just doesn't feel like that. But it's to the point. Sometimes where you think just nothing's going to go for you, and you need something drastic to change to make a difference. It kind of feels like that with Ange. It feels like something's got to change for him. It's just not working. You see it with certain players. Even if you take Timo Werner, it's just not working for him at Tottenham in the same way it didn't work at Chelsea, but it worked really well at Leipzig. It's just not happening, and maybe that's the same for Ange. Maybe we are at that point where a change is required. Again, that's just a really difficult scenario because who are you going to get? Most of the real class managers that we've been kind of linked with have picked up other jobs and moved on. So I don't think it's as simple as that. And I think the board have kind of backed themselves into a corner. For me, I just want, whether it be Ange or somebody else, I don't know, but I just want to see a manager absolutely backed with the right players that they want to do the football in the way that they want to do it, to play it in the right way, and given a chance where some of their shit out luck isn't impacting them. If I mean, I look at it overall and I go, okay, we talk about the transfer window and the fact that we've spent a fair bit of money, but in today's money, it's not a lot, especially when you're rebuilding the whole way through. I mean, we have let pretty much every player go, apart from Regulon, who we want to go, apart from Son, who even with his poor performances that he's put in, or the poor level that he's put in over this season, probably a fair bit of last, he still pops up with a lot of contributions. What you need is to be able to give him a rest and use him effectively as he's getting older, because I still think he's got something to contribute. But apart from him, every other player pretty much has left the club, and it's all new players coming in that we are trying to rebuild. And I don't care what anybody says, £40 million for Archie Gray is a steal. Bearing in mind we let Rodon go the other way for 15 or something. So actually, is it 40 million or is it 25? But then on top of that, you've also got, Lewis Bergvall. I think he's starting to look a real player, who we've picked up for real good money. Solanke, people can complain as much as they like, but I'm a big fan. I think he works really hard for the team and has contributed, a fair bit this season. Bearing in mind he's being overworked and overplayed because we don't have the other options. The biggest problem for me is the fact that there is no depth in this squad to cover. So if a player's having a bad game, if you look at last night, Pedro Porro is not playing well. He's having a difficult time. He's going through a patch. Now, you cannot say that Pedro Porro hasn't contributed this season and hasn't played well in some games, but he's not playing well in every game. So you need someone to be able to replace him with. The replacements that we've got for him are Archie Gray, who's picking up the centre-back position, and Jed Spence, who's picking up the left-back position. The only other option around that is to move him to right back and then bring in Reguilon, who clearly isn't fancied and who we want to go, right? So, and again, for me, that's a big issue that you have to challenge Ange on. So there's loads in there, and that's the problem. You haven't got the depth of squad to be able to take out the players that are not playing well when they're not playing well, even though they may play really good games in other games. I look at Bissouma, who I think has played some really decent games for us, but last night was terrible. We were able to change him, but what we changed him for was a very forward-thinking group of players, which is great, but did kind of leave us a little bit exposed. Anyway, the point I'm making is you've got to have at least two players for every position to be able to interchange it when someone's not playing well, and we are miles away from that. Now, whether that's gonna, improve under Ange or whether we need someone else, that's another question. And I can't see Ange going, but it does feel like he's at the end of his tether, running out of ideas and really, really frustrated. And why wouldn't he be? If he came out and he was still upbeat and happy after that defeat, I'd be fuming. I'd be more fuming than anything. So, I want to see him hurt. I want to see him upset. I want to see him fired up to try to put it right. I want him to go out there and really find what he could do differently. And if that means the board need to back him, then that's what the board need to do. Those conversations should be being had and probably are being had. But anyway, listen. Let's talk about the game last night. Watched it in the club. Had a fair few South Dorset Spurs people with us. It was about 11 of us all together in the club, which was really good to see. There was a couple of gooners in there who left before the game. Were playing pool actually, not even watching the game, and they left before the end of the game. You know who you are, Dave, affectionately known as Fuck Off Dave. You should. I'm surprised you didn't stay to the end to give us some stick, mate. But anyway, listen. Picking up the game last night, first half, I thought we were absolutely terrible. Absolute rabbit in the headlights, getting overran all the way through it. Arsenal wanted it. They really wanted that game. They really wanted to prove something, and we just could not get out of our own half, and we were all over the place. Really, really disappointing to see that. The lack of kind of forward thinking. We were fanning around the back far too much. And I know you can't just lump it upfield, but the middle of the park, there was no one there to take responsibility, get hold of the ball and make some decent passes forward, or to control it, or to really fight to win that ball. And for me, that was Bissouma and Sarr, I thought were poor in that first half. Of course, we get a good goal from Son. Great deflection, works in our favour, helps us out, gets us ahead in the game. But we see that far too often, where we get ahead in the game and then give it up all too easily. Arsenal's first goal, obviously really unlucky because Porro plays it out, goes off Trossard, I think it was, and they get a corner which is never a corner. But that happens, right? You're going to get that situation because it's just one of those things that the linesman can't see it from there. It's not a VAR thing that they look at. So sometimes they go for you, sometimes they go against you. But the defending from that is poor. Dragushin is too busy watching the man, not looking at where the ball's coming from, not blocking it off. not strong enough in the air to really compete. The goalkeeper is blocked off. He can't get anywhere near it. It goes far too deep, and then he kind of plays it back, and it hits Solanke and goes in with a bit of luck. And this is why I say we just don't have the luck. If there's a bit of luck, he pushes that right just round the post. But with our shit luck that we're going through, it comes off his chest and goes into the goal. A deflection, the same scenario really for the Arsenal situation with our deflection off of Son. So, but really, really disappointing that you don't get that. I mean, overall, I did think the ref was a bit poor again last night. We talk about refs far too much, but I swear to God, Sterling must be made of feathers, because anyone goes near him, he's just over. And it was just like that the whole way through it. We weren't getting anything in that first half, and really, really disappointing. Come to the second goal, for me, again, that's on Bissouma. You've got to be stronger there, and you've got to make that pass quicker. The pass was on for Spence, who'd done the overlap. He played it to you. You just have to turn it around the corner to him, keep that pressure off, get him on the run, because he was really up for it, Spence. And but no, you dilly-dally on it. You get pushed off the ball. It's taken off you, and of course, a ball played right out to Trossard, who's in acres of space because Porro's nowhere near him. Dragusin runs towards him, doesn't get close enough, and gives him enough time to hammer the ball. Takes a bit of a bobble and goes over Kinski's hand, so he can't. He gets a hand to it, but not enough to get it. So I think he'll be disappointed. I think he's going to be disappointed that he didn't get more to that. But I think Dragusin needs to look at himself and say, I needed to get closer. Porro needs to be looking at himself saying, I'm out of position. And Bissouma needs to look at himself and say, what am I doing here? I need to make these passes quicker than that. So really disappointed with that. And of course, once they're ahead, that was it. Strong, resolute defending. Making sure they were keeping on top of everything and not giving us any time. And that's what they do. They got strong defence, got strong midfield, and they were in the driving seat, and that makes it really, really, really difficult. I do think Ange made positive changes at half time. I thought it was brave to bring on Maddison and Johnson, pushed Kulu into the middle. So you got a midfield of Kulu, Maddison, and Bergvall. All forward-thinking players, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, who's going to defend? Who's going to support the defence? And as it turns out, Louis Bergvall did that, and he did that very, very well. I thought he was a real bright light in that game. I thought he was really bright. He worked really, really hard. Apart from the stupid tackle, which could have got him a yellow card, and he got away with one there. I thought everything else he did was really, really good, really strong, really forward-thinking. He didn't stop running the whole game. But again, Johnson really didn't do an awful lot, really didn't help our corner very much, really ineffective. So that was disappointing. Maddison, few little flashes, but nothing that you could kind of hang your hat on. And then, of course, he makes the next change and brings in Richarlison. Great to see him back. Proper shithouse of a player. Absolutely sort of player you want in your team if he's not got Weetabix legs. And he, and to be fair to him, I'll give him credit. I thought he put in probably 3 or 4 crosses, which is more crosses than some have done in the previous sort of 70 minutes or so. More than Johnson put in. He was trying to make something happen, trying to push it out on the left hand side, and I've got to give him a little bit of credit. I thought he was a little bit bright, a little bit of a bright spark in a dark game, along with Bergvall, and of course Archie Gray. Well, I think he's absolutely exceptional. The really frustrating thing with Archie Gray in this game for me was the constant playing back to the keeper. As soon as he got the ball out to him, he's looking to go back to the keeper and putting the keeper under an awful lot of pressure that didn't need to be there. The keeper, he's doing different things. He's going long, he's going short. He's good with his feet, and we saw that with his little Cruyff turn, which nearly gave me a heart attack. But overall, I thought, okay, he'll be disappointed with the second goal. But apart from that, I didn't think he did too much wrong. Got caught once trying to get the ball out. a bit of a Forster moment, but managed to get down and stop that. Which, fair play to him. He's been in the team or in the country less time than I'm on holiday. When I go away, he's less than a fortnight. He's with us. Playing in probably the biggest game of his life. There must have been nerves in there. He's constantly being put under pressure by his own defence, which that really frustrates me. And I'm pretty sure that Ange is not saying to the team, just keep playing it back to the keeper, put him under pressure. Of course, he's not. He wants us to make the angle, make the pass. But if he's got no one to pass to, if he can't get it to Spence because he's got 3 men on him, or he can't pass it to the midfielder because they're being man marked or whatever, and they're not confident at turning and running with it, then where's he supposed to go? His options are limited. And again, this is an 18-year-old lad playing in central defence, which is not his position. So, I think he's another one. He's a bright spark in a dark day. And even Kinski, I didn't think he did too much wrong, apart from the second goal, where I think he could have done better. But he's just not helped. He's not helped by Bissouma. He's not helped by Porro. He's not helped by Dragushin. So, what can he really do in that situation? I guess. So yeah, overall, really, really disappointing. Really disappointing result. And we are in real danger. But again, we're in a situation where every game we're losing, bar the game with Liverpool, we've lost by 1 goal. It's fine margins all the time. And this is why I say there's got to be an element of luck coming our way at some point. Because, I'm sure that some of these players are good enough. Like I say, I think Kinski's a good buy. I think Vicario's been a good buy. I think Bergval's a good purchase. I think Gray's a good purchase. I think Solanke's a good purchase. I think these guys in the spine of the team, you've still got Kulusevski, who I think is decent, although the last couple of games he's probably struck more than I would want him to. And Maddison, again, I think he's a decent player, gone off the boil a little bit, but can influence the game really, really well. Fingers crossed that Richarlison is now coming back and he's going to be strong and he's going to keep going. He wants to stay at the club. And I think people say it's for the money. He could get this money anywhere, right? I think he wants to prove something. I think he wants to prove that he is a good player because he's had such a shit time. And I hope he can do it. I'm a fan of the underdog. I always want to give the underdog a benefit of the doubt and hope that they can come good. It just doesn't feel like it at the moment. I think all Tottenham fans are pretty despondent and pretty depressed at the moment. But we are reactionary, and you're gonna be. You've just lost to your biggest rival, and the performance in the first half definitely wasn't where we would expect us to be in terms of that game. That is not what you want to see from your team. So listen, we like Ange said after his interview, he looked pretty despondent, and like he said, all you can do is keep going. All you can do is keep trying and keep working to try to turn it around. I think if you looked at the majority of the teams around the league, all these teams will be all saying very similar stuff. Those teams that are not getting the results will be saying the same things, going through a difficult time and so on and so forth. And it's hard for them. And so I see other supporters of other clubs bemoaning their manager, their owner, the players, and all the rest of it. When you're on the up, you're on the up. When you're on the down, you're just really on the down, aren't you? So yeah, really, really, really disappointing, really upsetting. But listen, what else are you going to do? What influence have I got here? Very little. All I can do is support the team, sing me out for them, and hope that they're gonna turn it around at some point. Something at some time is going to click, and we are going to get better. I do feel that our league position is not a deserved position. I don't think we've been battered by anybody bar Liverpool that one time. I think we've been unlucky at points. You just kind of have to go. You kind of have to go with it. I don't see any other managerial appointment making any difference at this point. And I think, go out the Carabao Cup, go out the FA Cup, then I think there's a massive conversation that the board would be having, because that's what's keeping the hope alive that something's still an opportunity for us. And I think they've learnt the lesson of just reactionary sackings. I think they've maybe kind of learning a lesson from that it's not going to change overnight if you just keep changing the manager. I do believe that. Will a new manager be able to do something better with the players that he's got? Potentially. But I mean, that was the theory with Mourinho, right? That was the theory with Mourinho coming, same players, different manager, different ideas. He'll be able to get across the line. Now, I don't know what definitely went on behind the scenes there between him and Daniel Levy, as to why he left before the game. The one thing I am sure of is that he wasn't hounded out by the fans, which has been suggested. The same as Conte, hounded out by the fans. I don't ever recall any of that. I thought everyone was backing the manager, regardless of how poor the football might have been. Conte pushed himself out, as far as I'm concerned, and that's that. And he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be associated with us. Mourinho, I think, is a personality clash. But my point is, he brought Mourinho in because Mourinho said, you've got really good players here. You just need a better manager who can get the best out of them. He came in. It didn't happen. It didn't work. So what's to say that it would work again with this situation? If you'd have got Graham Potter, would Graham Potter be doing a better job than Ange with these same players, with these same scenarios? I don't know. I'm not sure that's the case. So yeah, it's a real difficult place to be at the moment. I wouldn't want to be making those decisions, even if I was the owner of the club. I don't think I'd want to make it, because I'm just not sure what's out there that's going to make it different. Until we've got the players back from injury and he's got a full squad to pick from, until he's been backed with the sort of players in the depth of squad that he desperately needs, I don't think you can really judge a manager's performance. Like I say, when he came into the club, he brought the fan base back together. He galvanised things. He got us moving in the right direction. We got to see more attacking football. We got a bit more of an attacking ethos in the game. I don't think all of the purchases have been terrible, but it's all about opinions. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people watching this video. Lots of people watching this video. That's a bit of a laugh, really. But those people that are watching this video will have different opinions for sure, and you're entitled to them. Absolutely, I've got no problem being called out as being deluded, happy clapper, thick as shit, whatever it might be. But for me, I just don't know where we go from here, apart from Everton at the weekend. And I hope that that their new manager bounce doesn't come in at this game. They obviously lost yesterday, same as us. I'm hoping that that's the case again for them at the weekend, and then we kind of move on from there. There is some games coming up where we should be able to get some revenge on some of these teams that have got good results against us that probably didn't deserve it. But yeah, it's up to the players. It's up to the players, and it's up to the manager to get that right. It's up to the owners and the board to get in what's needed to try to turn this around, regardless of the situation of the manager. Somewhere along the line, they need to turn it around. This rebuild can't stop here. It needs to keep going. And I know January is a difficult month to do it in, but even so, you can't stand still. That's what we learned from the Pochettino time with two windows without anything. You cannot afford to sit still, and we've been chasing that ever since. Big mistake from the board there for sure. So anyway, like I say, I just wanted to get it off my chest and try and make myself feel a little bit better over the situation. But it's never good losing to your rivals. But I guess I should be used to it by now. It's happened so bloody often, doesn't it? But listen, onwards and upwards. It's in your blood, Tottenham, till I die. I can't really get away from it. And and I'll still be here at the end. It's not like you can just say, "Oh, I'm going to go and support someone else. I've had enough of this rubbish." You know, if you're watching a TV show and it starts to get shit, you can turn it off and watch something else. With your football team, that's just never going to happen, is it? You know, it's never going to happen. It's not like watching Lost, where the first couple of seasons were brilliant, and then after that it was rubbish, and you just wanted to get to the end of it. Football's a whole different level. So anyway, listen, thanks for watching. I appreciate it as ever. One call out: most of the people that watch these videos do not subscribe to the channel. I am desperately trying to get to 2,000 because it just gives me that little bit of faith that what I've done is right, is good. A little bit of support. So if you don't subscribe to the channel, could you please consider doing that? Because it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to watch the videos if you don't want to, but it does help the channel grow and make me feel like I am kind of going in the right direction, doing the right things. If you think I'm not, feel free to email me at leaderdorsetspur@gmail.com and tell me what you think, or leave comments in the comment sections. That's fine as well. If there's anything you think I should be doing or would like to see me do differently, let me know. I'm interested. I want to see if I can grow this before the end of the season. But anyway, thanks for watching. As always, appreciate the support from those that do, and I'll see you on the next one. And we'll keep it there up the